Hey, everybody, it's Melissa Harmel here, Realtor with eXp Realty Alaska. And I am so happy today to be talking with one of my favorite lenders, Rhonda Johnson with Cornerstone Home Lending. She is the only certified mortgage planning specialist in the state of Alaska. And we're going to do a 5-part series on some common buyer questions that we've seen lately. So, hey, Rhonda, how are
Hey,
you?
hey, Melissa, doing excellent.
So, Rhonda, will you tell our viewers how long you've actually been in this crazy business we call mortgage and real estate?
Yeah, so I actually started in 1983. And so we've been through a few cycles, and it's been, gosh, coming up on 39 years now of doing this. And just like you, you've been doing this an awful long time as well, huh?
Yeah, I got my license in 1998. Not
Yeah.
as long as you, but we've worked together 15 years.
Yeah. And it's a great relationship. What a great team.
Well, yes, I think it works really well. So, one of the things that we have seen lately is buyers kind of get sometimes pigeonholed into one specific lender, or they ask me the question, should I be shopping around and talking to other mortgage professionals about what we could or couldn't do? So, can you explain why a buyer would ever want to shop lenders?
And so I think the question is that there's a lot of information out on the internet, you're doing research, obviously you want to be an informed homeowner. This is a big purchase. And so there's a lot of advice out there to shop around and look at different options. And not that that's bad advice. The thing that I think is important to ask is, what are you shopping for? What are you looking for? So, in like a case with us where we've been working together for so long, we know how each other works. You know what the expectations are of me. I know what your expectations are. And we can click right through the process because the team works really well together. So there's a title company, there's the realtor, there's the lender. You get along great with all of the appraisers. And so you can just make things happen. When you get a different team put together that doesn't always work together regularly, then it opens some doors for more mishaps to happen and perhaps delays or challenges along the way. And so when you want to shop around, then the big question is, what are you shopping for? So for example, with me, when somebody says, I want a conventional loan for 20% down and a 30-year fixed rate loan. Well, for me as a lender, I'm going to go shop multiple investors for you so that I do that shopping for you to try to find the best loan product. And then we also take a look at, and this is where the planning piece comes into place, is that really the best loan product for you? And it very well may be, but I also want to open your eyes to some other possibilities. If we do this instead of that, then we might get this rate. Or if we do this strategy, then you might have money left over to do the next strategy. Or so we kind of talk about that and do some planning. So the big question about, and the big advice about shopping around is not that it's bad advice, it's that you need to know what you're shopping for.
That is great because I think that what I've been learning is, especially this millennial group that's shopping, they have been this thing in their hands since the day they were born. And
Correct.
so they think that what's on the internet is true.
Mm-hmm.
And they go through these processes, but then when they go to get a pre-qual letter, they can't get a hold of anyone who actually originally talked to them.
Right.
They are frustrated. And so I'm hear what you're saying is that as real estate agents, we need to be talking to our buyers about why would you shop and what would you be shopping for? Because my understanding is, and check me if I'm wrong, that you guys all pretty much blend from the same pool of money. So it's not like Cornerstone has a different pool of money than Alaska USA or Residential Mortgage or Wells Fargo or any of those people. You have similar pools of money. It's just shopping for what?
Exactly. And so, as an example, I mean, if you poll all the lenders on any given day at the exact same minute, because remember, those rates change minute by minute throughout the day. So it's really hard to compare apples to apples if you're even 5 minutes away from the last quote that you got. So we're always within, I'd say, an eighth or a quarter% of each other. We're all very competitive. We all want the best options for our clients that we can give. That's our job, is to get you the best thing that meets your needs. But as an example, I had a phone call yesterday from a client that said, do you do new construction loans? And she was going down the list on the internet of lenders in the area, and her question was, do you do new construction loans? And I don't know where I was on the list, but she had talked to other people before. And I said, well, the short answer is yes and no, but tell me more about what you're looking for. And as we got into it, she didn't really want a construction loan. She wanted to build a new home on property that their parents had given them. But she didn't want to be the builder. She didn't want to get a construction loan. She didn't want to be the general contractor. She just wanted to have a house built on this land that they were gifted. And so as we got into the information, then we identified what the real need was, what the real want was, but she didn't know what questions to ask. All she knew was that somebody had told her that you need a construction loan to build a new house. And so as we dissected it, then we came up with a really great plan for her to get that new home built, and gave her some ideas on contractors that she can work with and that would work within her means. And so knowing what you want is really critical to knowing what questions to ask then. So just the advice of shop around without knowing really what you're shopping for is super critical to have a clear understanding of.
So I can imagine the online mega portals that are always being massively marketed because they have a chunk of change behind them that's consistently marketing. That's just a machine. And they probably are never asking those questions. Because I do have a buyer right now, interestingly enough, who was referred to his parents' lender.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've worked with that lender before, and I know the team atmosphere, I know the communication style, and they got super frustrated. They were like, we feel like she's not listening to us. She didn't ask us any questions. She didn't know what we wanted. So they actually went to somebody at work and said, hey, you guys just bought a home. How did that go? Raved about it. They called that lender and boom.
Yeah.
They feel like they're being heard. So I do think that's true. So shopping for a lender means a lot of different things than just, if I'm shopping for the best rate, am I shopping for the best fees? Am I shopping for the quickest turn time? Am I shopping for
The best
no discount
communication.
points?
Mm-hmm. Right, you're absolutely right. And having that clear is important. And the one thing that always comes to my mind when I hear and see some of these mega online lenders doing Super Bowl commercials and marketing and on every single television station and mass mailers, my mind always says they're getting their money from somewhere to afford that kind of advertising. And where is it coming from? And so, I can't help but think that it's coming from their clients. That's just kind of my bottom line thinking
Well,
on that.
again, I take a
And
portion of my commissions every year and base it on how much money I've made from my
mhm,
sales. And that's how I market. So
sure.
yes, I would have to say your mega companies are definitely, even though they might not call it a marketing fee, somewhere along the road, it is a marketing fee. Someone's paying in order to keep that marketing going.
And then kind of going back to your comment there, which is brilliant, that they're just a machine, right?
Mhm.
So they're a machine to get as many bodies as they can in and out their doors to feed that marketing machine that they've created. And in all these years that I've been doing this, I just have to say, I could never work for a company like that because these clients are families. They're families that need a home to buy. They're families that need a place to stay. They have a need that fits their budgets and their wants and their desires. They're not a loan number. They're not a file number. They're not a case number. They're not a last name and loan number. They're a family that has a need, and I'm here to provide that need for them. So no, I don't do all of that kind of stuff because I would rather put my time, energy, effort, and money into helping families versus just feeding a marketing machine.
So I think one thing, if you're going to take anything away, our viewers today, is that when you're being told to go shop, one thing that you need to add to that list is communication. How is that lender and the real estate agent you've chosen to help you in your process working together as a team? Because this is a team effort. There are a lot of players
Oh,
in this
yeah.
game.
Yeah.
And if your lender and your real estate agent aren't in sync, it's really challenging, because the real estate agent should be the one to be able to easily pick up the phone and call your lender and say, hey, how's everything going? Is there anything we need to do? So shopping for a loan is like shopping for a real estate agent. You need to find someone who you're going to be able to easily communicate with,
Right.
and communicates well with lenders.
Right.
Yes. So,
Well, and it's kind of like going in, let's say like you were shopping for a new car, right? You go to the car lot. Well, which car lot do you go to? Do you go to Chevy or Ford or Subaru, or which one first of all, where do you start? And and then when you get there, you can get pickup trucks, or you can get vans, or you can get small cars or sports cars or SUVs, or so you have to kind of have an idea of what you want before you know what to go shopping for. So that's the same thing that I would give as advice when you're shopping for a mortgage, knowing what you want and asking the right questions to get the answers.
and so one of the things that I can tell the viewers is that when I have sent clients to Rhonda, she does sit down and she does chat with them, and she does that face to face or on the phone or via Zoom,
Mm-hmm.
whichever way the comfort of the client is. And she does ask those deep questions, because sometimes maybe my family or friend or told me I got to put 20% down. I'm a first time home buyer, all of these things. So the one thing is, you definitely want a lender you can talk to who will actually say, where are your goals? Is this a house you're going to buy and live in and raise your family in? Okay, well then we might want to get your credit up so that you can do a conventional loan. So you're not in an FHA loan with mortgage insurance for the life of the loan, or those little things.
Mm-hmm.
And you would then be taking the information from the buyer, putting it in your little program behind the scenes, and shopping for the best loan products for
Right.
that particular buyer. On average, how many loan products do you usually present to a buyer?
Well, so when we go through the planning process, then it kind of starts with there's probably over 200 different possibilities that are available. But as we're talking, I'm kind of mentally kicking them out. Okay, that one won't work. That one won't work. That one won't work. And we narrow it down to maybe one, two, or three that fit that family's needs. And so I don't want to overwhelm them with 200 possibilities that make no sense for them. And so we narrow it down to just a couple, two or three. And then from there, we see which one fits the best for them. And the other thing too is sometimes when you're dealing with online or out-of-state lenders, then we run into that struggle of the appraisers. We have very limited resources in Alaska, and things like the appraisers are very, very a limited pool of options. And because we're unique and because things are not don't nicely fit inside the national boxes, then we need to be working with local people that can understand the uniqueness of Alaska. Whereas the kind of big box lenders, I'll call them, just say if you don't fit in the box, the answer is no. But we're really good at reshaping the boxes and kind of stretching them in the corners a little bit and making sure that things fit. And things like the appraisers, like the title companies, they want to take care of their local lenders, realtors, local families buying homes. And so they don't give as much assistance to the kind of out of state lenders because they just don't have time. They're a very limited resource. So they want to keep the local folks happy. And so that's another thing that when you're shopping make sure that you're shopping for somebody that understands this area. They might be licensed in all 50 states, but are they experts in all 50 states?
You
I
would
couldn't
never
I
be able to
couldn't
be an
be.
expert in all 50 states. Being an expert in all the different areas of Alaska is challenging enough.
Exactly.
I can't imagine thinking I was a lender able to do loans everywhere, because everybody has different requirements for all different types of things.
Exactly. Exactly. And I choose to just specialize only in Alaska. I don't want to mix things up with other states and their possibilities. I want to help my Alaskan families. And so I specialize in just Alaska.
But the great thing is that you do work for Cornerstone Home Lending. So I do know for a fact that I've sent you people who are, I'm representing them as a seller, they're leaving the state. I send them to you and you partner them with somebody that's a specialist in
In
that
their
particular
state.
area that works, because again, that's what we should be doing.
And that's the networking, so that's knowing who you know and what they know. And so absolutely we have loan officers, I believe, in almost all the 50 states, but if we have somebody leaving Alaska, then I'm not going to try to help them in a state I'm not familiar with, but I probably know somebody who is very familiar with that state. So yeah, we can still be a service, we can still help. But again, what are you shopping for?
Okay, so thank you very much, Rhonda. And we will see you next week. We do a show every single week, guys. If you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, just keep checking in on our shows. If you have questions that you would like us to answer, feel free to put those in the comments or send us an email or text us or call us. Our contact information is at the end of this video. And next week, we'll get to our second part of our 5-part series on what are the things buyers are asking for right now. So Rhonda, I'll see you next week. Remember to follow me at Melissa Harmel Realtor on all social media sites.
All right, see you next week.
See you, Rhonda.